बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। माय नेम इज़ अक्सर सईद। वेलकम बैक टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। चलिए देखते हैं हम आज की इस वीडियो में हम जो है इंग्लिश लेक्चर प्रिपरेशन के MCQs कुछ करने वाले हैं। फर्स्ट 10 लेक्चर्स हमारे अपलोड हो चुके हैं। नेक्स्ट आज हम अपना 11वां लेक्चर स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। तो चलिए देखते हैं हम। इससे पहले जो लिंग्विस्टिक्स का पोर्शन है वो लेक्चर कंप्लीट अपलोड हो चुका है, वो भी देख लीजिएगा काइंडली। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं हम। फर्स्ट वन है हमारे पास, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सेट्स कंसिस्ट्स ऑफ एक्सक्लूसिवली इंग्लिश थिंकर्स। कि इन जो ऑप्शन दिए हुए हैं 4 हमारे पास, इनमें से कौन सा है वो, यानी जो कि सेट है कंसिस्ट करता है एक्सक्लूसिवली इंग्लिश थिंकर्स। तो इनमें से फर्स्ट वन ऑप्शन जो है वो हमारे पास है लाइक न्यूटन, हॉब्स एंड लॉक। नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास, हु असेंडेड टू थ्रोन ड्यूरिंग द ग्लोरियस रेवोल्यूशन। ग्लोरियस रेवोल्यूशन के दौरान जो है कौन था जो असेंड किया गया था थ्रोन से, तख्त से, वो थे विलियम एंड मैरी। आइडेंटिफाई द करेक्ट क्रोनोलॉजिकल अरेंजमेंट ऑफ दीज इंग्लिश इवेंट्स। वो हमारे पास है फर्स्ट वन ऑप्शन, लिवियाथान पब्लिश्ड, ग्लोरियस रेवोल्यूशन जो है अकर्स, एंड आफ्टर दिस 2 ट्रीटीज ऑफ गवर्नमेंट पब्लिश्ड एंड वेल्थ ऑफ नेशंस आल्सो पब्लिश्ड। नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग वाज एन इमीडिएट डाउन साइड ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन, दैट वाज वर्कर्स वर मिसट्रीटेड एंड फॉरबिडन टू फॉर्म यूनियंस। इन व्हाट वे वाज रोम फर्स्ट कनेक्टेड टू रेनेसां फ्लोरेंस। रोम जो है फर्स्ट कनेक्ट हुआ था रेनेसां फ्लोरेंस के साथ, किस वे में, तो वो था फाइनेंशियली। During the Renaissance, which of the following groups contributed most to the destruction of the buildings of ancient Rome, that was architects? Which of the following best describes the government of Venice? Government of Venice को जो है best describe करता है oligarchy. Which of the following is considered the greatest sculptor of the Renaissance? वो थे डोनाटेलो, जो कि greatest sculptor थे Renaissance के, डोनाटेलो। At what age did Michelangelo enter the school for sculptors established by the Medici? उनकी एज थी उस टाइम पे 13 ईयर। Which of the following was not a reason for the revival of botany? That is, scientists sought to find the poison which caused the plague. B option is correct. Next है हमारे पास, which of the following is not associated with high modernism in the novel? That is narrative realism. Which novel did T.S. Eliot praise for utilizing a new mythical method in place of the old narrative method and demonstrates the use of ancient mythology in modernist fiction to think about making the modern world possible for art? That is James Joyce's Ulysses, जो कि एक नॉवेल है और वो बेस करता है होमर ने जो ओडिसी लिखी थी उस बेस पे, ट्रोजन वार के उस इरा में और वो सब। Who wrote the dystopian novel 1984 in which Newspeak demonstrates the heightened linguistic self-consciousness of modernist writers? That was जॉर्ज ऑरवेल, जिन्होंने नावल 1984 लिखा था, डिस्टोपियन नावल। When was the ban finally lifted on D.H. Lawrence's novel Lady Chatterley's Lover, written in 1928? तो बैन हुआ था वो 1960 में। इसके साथ एक और नावल भी था जो कि बैन हुआ था, सन्स एंड लवर। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग वाज ओरिजिनली द आयरिश लिटरेरी थिएटर? दैट इज बोथ ए एंड सी, द आयरिश नेशनल थिएटर एंड द एबे थिएटर। Which phrase best characterizes the late 19th century aesthetic movement, which widened the breach between artists and the reading public, sowing the seeds of modernism, that is, art for art's sake? With which enormously influential perspective or practices the early 20th century thinker Sigmund Freud associated? Sigmund Freud जो है आप सबको पता होगा कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा फेमस थे, किस वजह से? बिकॉज साइको एनालिसिस की उन्होंने थेरी दी थी, फादर ऑफ साइको एनालिसिस। Which scientific or technological advance did not take place in the first 15 years of the 20th century? That is the creation of the internet. What characteristics of 17th century metaphysical poetry sparked the enthusiasm of modernist poets and critics? That is both A and B. Its intellectual complexity and its union of thought and passion. Which poet could be described as part of the movement of the 1950s? That is called both A and C, the Thomas Gunn and Philip Larkin. Which of the following writers did come from Ireland? All of the above. W.B. Yeats भी Irish poet थे, जेम्स जॉयस भी और ऑस्कर वाइल्ड भी. What year was the Battle of Trafalgar? And the year of Battle of Trafalgar was 1805. What year was the Battle of Waterloo? Battle of Waterloo, इसमें ऑप्शन जो है दिए हुए हैं लेकिन आंसर नहीं है, तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है 1815. बैटल ऑफ वाटरलू का जो ईयर था वो था 1815, बी ऑप्शन 1815. When did the Titanic sink? टाइटैनिक सिंक हुआ था 1934 में. नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास, ऑफ विच ऑफ दीज डिड एडवर्ड एट बिकम द गवर्नर आफ्टर ही एब्डिकेटेड फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिश थ्रोन? दैट वाज द बहामास. What was the collective name to describe the ports of Hastings, Romney, Hythe, Dover, and Sandwich? That is Cinque Ports. How did Judge Jeffreys earn himself his bad reputation? उसने bad reputation किस तरह से earn की? By having the Monmouth rebels hanged. Which of these parliaments came first in history? Short Parliament. Who was the only British Prime Minister to be assassinated? That was Spencer Perceval. The Romans ruled Britain for, रोमन ने ब्रिटेन पर रूल किया 367 years. बी ऑप्शन जो है वो राइट है. Which best describes the general feeling expressed in literature during the last decade of the Victorian era, that is studied melancholy and aestheticism? Which of the following acts were not passed during the Victorian era, that is the Women's Suffrage Act? Which contemporary discussions on women's rights did Tennyson's The Princess address, that is the need to enlarge and improve educational opportunities for women, resulting in the establishment of the first women's college in London? Which of the following Victorian writers regularly published their work in periodicals? That is all of the above. थॉमस कार्लाइल, इन्होंने भी अपना रेगुलरली वर्क जो है पब्लिश किया periodicals में. मैथ्यू अर्नोल्ड एंड चार्ल्स डिकेंस भी, एलिजाबेथ बैरेट ब्राउनिंग ने भी. नेक्स्ट है हमारे पास, what best describes the subject of most Victorian novels? That is the both A and C. The representation of a large and comprehensive social world in realistic detail, and also the attempt of a protagonist to define his or her place in society. Why did the novel seem a genre particularly well suited to women? That is none of these. It did not carry the burden of an august tradition like poetry, ये भी नहीं है. It was a popular form whose market women could enter easily, ये भी नहीं है. It was seen as a frivolous form where one should not make serious statements about society, ये भी नहीं है. What was the relationship between Victorian poets and the Romantics? That is, the Victorians were strongly influenced by the Romantics and experienced a sense of belatedness. What type of writing did Walter Pater define as the special and opportune art of the modern world? That is non-fiction prose. For what do Matthew Arnold's moral investment in non-fiction and Walter Pater's aesthetic investment together pave the way? Modern literary criticism. Which of the following comic playwrights made fun of Victorian values and pretensions? All of the above. W.S. Gilbert and Arthur Sullivan, Oscar Wilde, and George Bernard Shaw. And where was Mary Queen of Scots' husband Darnley killed? कहाँ पे killed किए गए थे? Kirkfield में. What is the main reason that Elizabeth first ordered Mary's execution? That she was the head of many plots to overthrow Elizabeth as queen. What did James first make a habit of lecturing Parliament on? That is divine right of kings. In what year were the Jews expelled from England? 1290. 1290 में जो है Jews expelled हुए थे इंग्लैंड से. Which did the Rump Parliament not abolish by February 7, 1649? That is House of Commons. When some fishermen brought James back to London, what happened? He was basically ignored and told to go to the coast. The 1701 Act of Settlement stated that after Anne's rule, which dynasty would inherit the throne? That is Hanover. The Act of Union 1707 united what two parts of the kingdom? That is England and Scotland. A option. Which metrical form was Pope said to have brought to perfection? That is heroic couplet. Which poets collaborated on the lyrical ballads of 1798? विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ एंड सैमुअल टेलर कॉलरिज. इससे रिलेटेड एक और जो MCQs भी आता है फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन का. फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन जो थी वो 1789 में थी और लिरिकल बैलेट्स पब्लिश हुई थी 1798 में. कभी कभी वो उससे रिलेटेड MCQ पूछ लेता है और कभी कभी PPSC वाला इससे। Which of the following was a typically romantic means of achieving visionary states? That is all of these: opium, dreams, childhood. ये सभी जो है visionary states में आती हैं। Queen Victoria refused to give her consent to an act of parliament making lesbianism illegal. Why? उसने जो है lesbianism illegal consider किया। Why? क्यों? Because she did not believe women would do such a thing. What happened in October of 1641? अक्टूबर ऑफ 1641 में क्या हुआ था? द रिपब्लिक ऑफ आयरलैंड वाज क्रिएटेड। हु डिड द राउंड हेड्स सपोर्ट a radicalized parliament? In what city Charles raised his standard starting the Civil War, that is Nottingham? Why did the king's forces ultimately take back what they lost in the July 1644 Battle of Marston Moor? That is, Parliament's forces never followed up on their victory. B option is correct. Which of these is magnum opus of Chaucer, that is the Canterbury Tales, prologue to the Canterbury Tales? In which language the stories of Canterbury Tales are written, that is Middle English? The Jacobean era refers to a period of time in the early 17th century in which of the following countries, that is England? Which of the following 16th century poets was not a courtier? That was George Putnam. Which of the following statements is not an accurate reflection of education during the English Renaissance? That is, its curriculum emphasized ancient Greek, the language of diplomacy, professions, and higher learning. Who succeeded Elizabeth I on the throne of England? That was James I. Which of the following plays was not authored by Shakespeare in the Jacobean period? That was Volpone, because Othello, The Tempest, and King Lear सारे ही शेक्सपियर के ही लिखे हुए हैं. So Volpone is not written by Shakespeare. Who authored the scholarly biography Life of Donne? That was Isaac Walton. What literary work best captures a sense of the political turmoil, particularly regarding the issue of religion just after the Restoration? That was Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel. Which of the following best describes the doctrine of empiricism? That is, all knowledge is derived from experience. René Descartes is credited with introducing which of the following? René Descartes is credited with introducing deductive reasoning. News of the advances made by Europe's scientific societies was spread primarily by which means? That is, scientific journals. Which Parisian landmark was raided by revolutionaries in pursuit of arms? That is, the Bastille. Which event did not take place during the summer of 1789? 1789 में कौन सा इवेंट जो है वो नहीं हुआ था? That was the reign of terror. Which document declared that all men are free and equal? That is the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. In which century were Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales written? वो 14th century में लिखी गई थी. सो यहाँ तक जो है हमारा आज का लेक्चर ख़त्म होता है. चलिए चलते हैं हम. अल्लाह हाफिज़. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. थैंक यू सो मच.